Thread 6: Confronting my husband while he's on vacation with his mistress. I sit in the dark sipping coffee and typing a post I never thought I would type. Let me take you through the story as it happened. My ex told me after my email that it wasn't feasible for him to come here for a month. That text was very early December, so I gave up hope. I was planning on sticking to my no-contact approach and wait him out till March and go full custody. I was at peace with my decision. It was the only option that would bring me peace mentally and rectify our back-and-forth travel problem. He did continue to text me asking about Christmas, and I just told him to book the tickets. That's it. Want to see them, just book them. Any and all negotiations are done. Then on Friday 12/16, he calls the boys after disappearing for almost 2 weeks and tells them that they will be coming to see him for Christmas. Wait, what? Is he pulling the trigger? I then get a text that he's going to look into tickets and get them out there for the holidays. I'm not excited to hear this. I was just patient. He told the boys, so that must mean something, but I am in disbelief until I see it. I remind him that I'm not paying for travel and he assures me that he knows. So I leave him alone. Let him book, or attempt to book, or buy his time. I'm not sure what his strategy is right now. After a few days and pretty close to the holiday, he texts me that he has sorted out the tickets. I'm starting to get my hopes up that this is going to well. He gives me times and flight info and we strategize. This is going well. Almost too well. Then the shoes drops. He asks since he lost his job if I can help pay for the flight S. There it is. He wanted me to pay for flights when he had a job, so I think this was an attempt at guilting me. He shot and missed. I stood strong on my stance. He told me he knew this would bite him in the ass in the future. I asked for clarification and he said he knew I'd tell my lawyer that he was paying all of travel and then he'd have to continue doing so. Yay. That's right. That's exactly what will happen. He's biting the responsibility bullet and doing it, so it seems. Again, I won't believe it till I see it. By this time it is now 12:21 and I don't have flight info. The next day he starts texting me as I drive home from work. I call him. I need straight answers and to communicate with him fluidly. He never answers my calls, so I was surprised when he did. People here in the US know we recently just had a large storm and he was afraid of weather issues for travel. Which day would the weather less impact the trip? All valid concerns. So we chatted about it and strategized, and then it happened. He cried. I asked why he was upset and he said he had a lot going on. So here I go speculating. Is he afraid? Worried his new family and the boys won't get along? Is he worried it will cause a rift with his new girlfriend? Perhaps maybe he is concerned the boys and him won't have a connection after so long apart? It could be all or none of that. I reassured him and we hung up with a tentative plan. The boys leave Christmas Eve. I did laundry. I packed. I gathered things for their backpacks for the flight. I was ready. We woke Christmas Eve and headed to the airport. The boys were nervous. Nervous for the flight in a new state they have never been to. Nervous to meet her children. Nervous to see their father. I know this will be good for them and I tried my best to calm their fears, but I was nervous too. What if the trip doesn't go well? They may never want to return and I will have to force them to go in the future. But what if it's great and my ex says he can't afford to send for them anymore? Or maybe, just maybe, everything will be fine. We get to the airport. My oldest, who has anxiety, is claiming he doesn't feel well. Me too, kid. Me too. We get to security and there he is. He looks good, better than he did over the summer, but he looks older. I remember it's been a year since I really looked at him and figure I probably look older too. This reminds me to get my roots done over the break. I hug the boys, choke back my fear and sadness, and let them go. My ex and I share an awkward hug goodbye and they slip past the gates. I walk back to my car slowly. I remind myself of all the benefits and how I desperately need this break. I have plans to go to my boyfriend's house for a week and I'm looking forward to that. I tell myself I can relax. Book a massage. Sleep in. Catch up on Netflix. Roots. Gotta do my roots. But even though I wanted my ex to do this and I need this break, it still stings. I told my oldest to calm his fears that this first trip will be the hardest. It will get easier after this trip. I should take my own advice. His girlfriend texted me unsolicited and reassured me the boys would be well taken care of. I don't think it's necessary to tell someone you won't neglect their kids. That should be a given, right? I know her intentions were good, but it seemed odd. She said she was grateful the boys will be with us. They could have been with you sooner and more often if your boyfriend sprung for the tickets, lady. But again, let me leave that one alone. The boys return on the 4th. I sit in silence now on Christmas morning and miss them. No Christmas morning excitement or fighting from the boys, and I have to be at peace with it. Whether this is what is best for them or not, it is our reality. New chapter, same book 11723 expectations. They are a crazy thing. Some of us have zero. Many of us overthink. Some are hopeful but realistic. Others believe in fate or destiny. Forrest Gump believes we're just floating on a breeze. I have no idea what I think. What I can tell you is that expectations can be predictable. The boys arrived home on 1/4/23 and had stories of visits to the zoo, museums and mini-golf. They had Christmas and were excited for our new tradition of second Christmas. They had fun with her children who were close in age and hopefully built strong relationships with them. For that I am happy. The boys told me stories in the ride home from the airport as if they were gone for months. Remember, Dad? He took us to a light show at the zoo. Yes, I remember him, slowly trying to forget him, buddy. The sad part is I remember him. I remembered him all week while you were with him. I remembered his neglectful habits and truly hoped he changed. I remembered his short patience and hoped you boys didn't cause him to lose it. I remembered all of it. I only called the boys 3 times while they were gone. I did not want to impose on the quality time, but we did text me often. On our first FaceTime they were in a spare bedroom and I was told this is the FaceTime room and they were to only make calls from that room. Weird. Her daughter came into the room at one point during the call and I could see the GF in the doorway watching. When she realized I could see her she scuttled away quickly. It was funny, I laughed. I think she knew I was laughing at her. I made sure I made a comment about the FaceTime room while she was still in earshot. Our next call on I was in the family room. What a coincidence. I could see my ex shirtless in the background and when he returned on camera he was wearing a shirt. Again, I thought that was funny. I saw you naked for 15 years but now you are shy shirtless? Not that I have interest in you shirtless barf anymore. Again, I get it, we aren't together and his GF is there, but it all made me chuckle to myself. We really have come full circle. A few days before the boys returned I contacted my lawyer and let her know that he had paid for all of travel, while unemployed and on the most expensive and busiest travel time of the year. She emailed his lawyer the day the boys returned and resent the order. When his lawyer learned he had met his obligation she knew there was no way he could stall anymore. I'm not sure what the next move is. Can you force someone to sign? Will him dragging his feet result in a court appearance anyway? This has really become ridiculous. The good news is he got a job. I was told through a screenshot of a guy I have some great friends that he was out toasting with martinis on Saturday night. When I asked how his final interview went on Monday he told me he was made an offer but working through the details. That vodka and olives looks like it's been worked through already. The boys have been home for almost 2 weeks and he has not called them. In the past I'd be upset about this. Writing a post damning him and telling the world or just the few readers I have left that he will never change. But, I think this is the new normal. The weird part is, I'm okay with it. Pay your child support, take the boys when you are supposed to and stay out of our day-to-day. Now, does this help his relationship with the boys grow? Definitely not. But that's a problem he is creating. I'm not going to be a parent to the boys and a parent to him reminding him to call. I can't anymore. He proved he is capable, but still unwilling, and that's his bed to lay in. So even after the trip it's still the same book, we've just entered a new chapter. Is this new chapter the conclusion? Probably not, there is still so much more to encounter. This book is way too long. The pages turn and the story evolves, but I'm still waiting for the heroine to be triumphant. Going in circles to 1723 I'm tired. No, that's not correct. I'm mentally exhausted. How do you negotiate with someone unwilling to negotiate? How do you resolve a problem that someone refuses to acknowledge exists? How can a person scream what they want but be resistant to entertaining someone else's needs? How is everything seemingly unfair to one when someone else is always picking up the pieces? Why must one always be transparent while the other lies to win? I ask myself these questions and realize the answers won't come. You know why? Because I'm not that person. I'm not the person he is. I could never fathom acting as he acts because decent people don't. Only snakes who are selfish and out to kill with their venom behave in this manner. Well, this snake's is big, and he bites often. He got a new job. Good for you. 3 cheers. My lawyer asks for his new salary so we can recalculate CS and his attorney lets us know it's a lateral move. No increase. And, not only is it a lateral move, but a move within the company that let him go. False. Fake news. I know this all to be a lie as he sent me the health insurance info for this new job. I was looking to double up on dental and vision and the company name was on the paperwork. A Google search of the company and title also lead me to a salary that was a little more than 10K of what he was making. You dirty dog. Trying to hide your job and increased salary from your kids. But why? What's the motivation? Who wins there? A few more dinners out with your GF? Maybe gifts for her kids. He just got them Jordans and my kids are wearing Adidas? Starting a vacation account? No matter the winner, I know who loses. Super Bowl Sunday I contacted him about something concerning the boys and we of course go into a conversational okay, you got me, argument about him finally signing the order he has had since October. I'll paraphrase his response, I'm not signing. What was proposed in that order one both we and our attorneys worked on is unfair and I want to go to court to get everything squared away fairly. I'll blow whatever money I could be spending on the boys' money you are and haven't been spending this past year on court fees. You refused to compromise on anything. Only thing I didn't compromise on was travel, sir, and you only use our original order when it's convenient for you. I haven't used it at all cause you moved 2,000 miles away. I look forward to when you have to spend thousands. Oops, did you forget you pay legal fees if we go to court? Yikes, this is awkward. On an agreement I've prospered months ago. Goodbye you two. Yes, that looks about right. I told him that if he thinks a judge will rule in his favor when he has done none of his monthly parenting time, ignored receipts for extracurriculars and avoided signing off on the correct child support amount, then okay, let's head down to City Hall, buddy. If you have followed my story you know our original order required him to come here monthly. Well, he kicked and screamed that this wasn't possible and demanded a new order in which the boys go there. Well, the boys are supposed to return there in April for spring break. Of course I asked him a few times about dates and travel and he has ignored me. Yes, that's his new go-to move. Ignoring me. The old head in the sand routine. So today I get a text telling me it's not feasible for the boys to come there for Easter. Instead he offers a suggestion. He will come here March 13th 17th. I read that and thought I stroked out. I have negotiated with this man for a year only to have him suggest coming here? Shock isn't even the word. But wait, there's a catch. He wants to come Monday Friday in which he will pick the boys up from school, spend 2-3 hours with them and then return them home. Say what now? So let me get this straight, you're suggesting you come here to babysit, not parent. You will assume no parental responsibility minus the school pickup and then will drop them off so I can do homework, feed, bath and put to bed. Only to wake them, feed them, get them ready for school and bring them. How is this proposal of seeing them for 15 hours equivalent to the 10 days of parenting you were supposed to do? The math isn't mathing. I didn't answer. I don't think my brain comprehend this suggestion because it basically exploded. He obviously sees no issue in suggestion. That's what's so mind-boggling about it. He is contradicting what he claimed was impossible a year ago. Maybe the boys were monsters when he visited? Maybe his GF doesn't want the headache of entertaining for a week? Or maybe he saw the price of flights. He expects me to be accommodating but fights to meet any of my accommodations. No. Pause. Full stop. I emailed my lawyer. She said not to respond. She hasn't been able to get a hold of his lawyer signed 2223. She said this plays in my favor. We can use this. I'm not sure how but I'm excited to see how this plays out. The road trip 32723. You know when you take a car ride somewhere new, going there always seems to take an eternity? It's probably because it's a new place, you don't know the path, so you make some wrong turns, ask people for help with directions, eat way too many snacks, but in the end you get there. Well, I am here. I've parked the car and turned off the engine. I slapped my head to the steering wheel and breathed a sigh of relief. 2 weeks ago my ex was supposed to come here with his adopted family and spend spring break taking in the sights and spending a few hours with the boys. But, the boys had school, sports, events and things planned that just didn't make that week feasible. So, I declined and reminded him of their actual spring break in April, but apparently that doesn't work for him. So the week came and when we had a day free up I contacted him. The boys were available and he was in town. But then I learned he never came. They decided on a trip to a sunny state was in order. He blamed me for ruining his plans because I didn't make the boys available. I apparently kept the boys from him. Obviously all those other months he declined his parenting time are not up for debate. This was the only week he wanted to claim and I was the bad guy. At this point I'm beyond frustrated with his inconsistent parenting. You can't just choose to parent when it is convenient. He can't seem to grasp this concept. So again, I call the lawyer. I am literally bleeding money in legal fees. Like, major head wound, could be fatal, bleeding, but I don't care, this needs to end. My lawyer tells me that if he doesn't sign the new order by 3/24/23 we will file a non-compliance motion for his lack of parenting on our current and only parenting plan. You know, the one he has not complied to in a year. So, I sent him a very bland email that the clock is ticking and then we wait. I put the squeeze on him. It's the longest 5 days. A literal eternity. My lawyer and I place bets on if he will sign. We are both not hopeful. My boyfriend is a kind soul and gives him the benefit of the doubt. I wish I was as optimistic as him. I think I've been burned so many times that I can't be optimistic. But, on the final day I get a text from him. He did it. He signed. I will not have to pay for travel or travel with them. That is his responsibility, as it should be. This was my major sticking point. Along with that, an increase in child support. Almost a year of legal fees and frustration, and he waves the white flag and signs it. All of that agony just for him to do what he should have done months ago. What was the point? Was it a game? An angry back and forth? His way of keeping control over me? Was it her pushing him to fight? Or did he just become more of an asshole all on his own? It's probably none of that or all of it. My lawyer told me his lawyer was done with him. His counsel basically told him that he hasn't cooperated with me or her and he would get destroyed in court. I could have asked for the moon and stars and I would have gotten it. Sheesh, he seems to piss off all the strong, smart women he encounters. We smell the bullshit, we know he is full of it. So is this the end? Fat chance. I'm sure there will be drama moving forward. What would my life be without drama? Reflecting, I can't believe what has happened to me and how I've navigated this. No one ever thinks they will be here and there is no way to plan for this, because it'll never be you, right? I often get comments about how strong I am and how women in similar positions envy me. I still don't know how to handle those compliments. Because I made mistakes. So many? Too many, but I always focused on the two most important things, never losing sight of who I am and the well-being of my kids. I believe if you always stay true to your core values and the ones you love, you will never be defeated. By following me on this journey, I hope people found comfort and guidance from both my triumphs and my failures. I'm happy to say this leg of the road trip is complete. But, like most roads trips, the drive home is smooth. You know the route and the journey is less treacherous. Will I stop along the way this time and take in the sights? You betcha. Because the road now is known and it heads to a familiar place, home. Next on the list is a house, new job, more love from my new love, perhaps maybe I write for pleasure and actually publish, and many more memory-making adventures. Just me and my boys. The way it should be. Awkward small talk on a burning bridge 5/4/23. For many painful months I fought my ex about him visiting the boys. You all know this story, so you know how adamant he was about never returning here. So, after a year of negotiating, well, more like me negotiating and him playing dodgeball with all my requests, he finally signed and the boys must now travel to him on his dime. Phew. See you never? Fat chance. He texts me in early April telling me he'd like to come here for 3 days and visit the boys and celebrate our oldest's birthday. Like, seriously? What happened to all the foot stomping and epic hissy fit to never returning here? You signed the papers and now, a week or so later, you are telling me you want to come here? My ex is becoming a lot less predictable. Is this about control? Purposely doing the things he isn't supposed to do? To keep me on my toes? Listen, I'm too old to be a ballerina, sir. So, I don't fight him, and he returns. While the boys are at school he comes to the house to get their things. He looks okay. No real change from Christmas. He is slowly putting those pounds on that he lost during the affair. Comfort, I guess. I offer him coffee cause I'm a decent human being but also a caffeine addict, but he declines. So we stand awkwardly in the kitchen. Is he going to leave? Does he want to make small talk? I stare into my coffee and wish it was spiked. He makes conversation about the boys. Little things. Things that if he were present, he would know. We talk about my house hunt, which is not going well. Anyone have a reasonably priced 3-bedroom to sell? And the amount of work some of these houses need. He then tells me they are doing a $160K renovation to our 5-bedroom home. Wow. Must be nice. Asshole. As he talks about the renovation, none of it seems necessary. A larger and more updated master bath. Bumping out the front of the house to make a powder room and expand the entry. Like, how necessary is all of this? He seemed disgruntled and bothered about the renovation. Perhaps he sees they are unnecessary cosmetic changes. And, is he financially contributing to this? To a house he doesn't even own. She could kick him out tomorrow and he will never get any of that cash back. Is he realizing how he's essentially a guest in that house, yet paying for it? I mean, good for you, girl, squeeze him to increase your own equity. I'm not mad at you. The boys have a wonderful time swimming in the indoor pool, going out to eat, the movies and shopping. A successful weekend was had. He drops them off on Sunday and the boys run past me in the driveway with arms full of Legos and plush toys. I gather their bags and tell him thanks. But there he goes again, awkwardly standing. Shit. He wants to talk again. He kicks gravel in the road and tells me about their weekend. He then starts to tell me about a bachelor party he is attending in 2 weeks in Vegas. Cool. Didn't need to know this, but cool. He is in the wedding party and has drifted apart from many of those friends. Geez, I wonder why. He only talks to the groom. He tells me how he feels he will have to babysit everyone and is debating not going. Then it hits me, I know all these guys, he wants my opinion. Or better yet, he wants reassurance that the party will be more work than pleasure and he's making the right call on bowing out. So I tell him the opposite, go have fun. Secretly I know he wants to go. I'm not sure why he is holding himself back from spending time with his friends on a guy's weekend in Vegas. Shoot, I'll go if you don't want to. Well, a week before the trip he got COVID. Or so he said. Via test he told me how sick he felt, tired, congested, etc. Happy accident? Mataibi. I had the kids FD him 4 days after he tested positive to see how he felt and there he was, at work, congested and not wearing a mask. Perhaps the COVID protocols are less strict now? I'm not too sure. Fast forward 2 weeks and I'm hosting a friend's night with my dearest friends, their husbands, my boyfriend and our kids. As 7 children between the ages of 12 and 5 run around and scream, we sip drinks, eat and laugh. It's good fun with good people. My oldest and closest friend is scrolling through Instagram and she says, well, would you look at that? My ex blocked most of us from his social media, but not her. Oversight perhaps. She shows me the post. Today was the AP's birthday. My ex wrote a long and lovely caption about her empowering him to be the best bonus dad to her kids and her being one of the best choices he's ever made. Well damn. While I don't want him, it kinda sucks to read. Happy he's empowered to be a bonus dad, but treading water at being a real dad. 3 visits in a year doesn't get you nominated for Super Dad. But, then I realize. The bachelor party. He bailed cause it was her birthday weekend. Was this by choice or by force? Ooh shit. I'm now drowning in the pettiness and big dumb smiling, knowing that the groom will see this and piece it all together. Another bridge burned. Don't judge me on enjoying this moment, I deserve it.